Now, in celebration of the United Democratic Front's 40th anniversary, the Apartheid Museum here in Johannesburg is launching the Time to Act exhibition. It's aimed at reflecting on the work and impact of the UDF. A selection of 150 posters under a variety of themes will be on display. The posters showcase the varied membership of the UDF and the ability of grassroots organizations to influence history despite very limited resources. Well, for more on this exhibition, I'm joined now by the UDF General Secretary, that's Cheryl Carolus. I hope I got the title right. Cheryl, good afternoon. Welcome. Lovely chatting to you. It's been such a long time. What a moment. I mean, it is Heritage Weekend, and the UDF forms part of this country's very rich and deep political heritage.
Thank you very much, Dan. Let me just correct this. And before, I wouldn't want to usurp Popo Molefe's role as the General Secretary of the UDF. So no, I'm not. I was part of the National Secretariat of the UDF. So let's just correct that. And yes, indeed, Dan, it's a joyous reflection of a tough and proud decade, really, since 1980, sustained mass resistance, the biggest uprising that the world has seen, we are in fact commemorating and celebrating. But I must also say, quite sad, because they were dark days with thousands of people, tens of thousands of people in prison, including over 10,000 children. So it's a poignant moment to reflect on a very proud and courageous decade of the most sustained mass uprising against the fascist regime, really.
Yes. So now this exhibition, what are you hoping people will get it? I just mentioned in my intro that there'll be posters, a series of posters under different themes. What are you hoping it will achieve, Cheryl?
And we hope that we will use this as a moment to reflect on where we come from and the cost at which it came. Where we come from, not just for the sake of patting ourselves on the back, although it fills me with enormous pride that I was part of that movement that cracked the back of that apartheid monster, the biggest military machine on the African continent, that kept on killing, maiming, imprisoning people, and tide after tide, the people rose again and again, culminating in that defiance campaign in 1989. So we do want people to reflect that we come from somewhere and it came at a huge cost, because our country is experiencing really challenging times now. And somehow, as a population, we have perhaps outsourced our power to people where quite a few of them have disappointed us. And so the theme of this 40th celebration is active citizenry for transformation and accountability. So we hope that through this pictorial display, and it's a magnificent exhibition, it starts at 11 o'clock on Sunday and it goes till 5 o'clock. The main proceedings, Tuli Madonsela and Trevor Manuel will be the main speakers. And there will be food stalls and music. So we really want to invite those who are around in Joburg to please come at 11 a.m. on Sunday morning to celebrate this heritage.
And it's open to the public?
It's open to the public and it will be free. Admission will be free, Dan.
Okay. Are you going to be the MC? I see you MC'd the occasion where the president spoke.
No, I'm not.
Okay. Now, honestly, yes, Cheryl?
No, I shall be in attendance very much.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, that's important. Just two things that come to mind, and you've mentioned this before in other interviews as we're building up to the 40th anniversary of the UDF. I mean, if you look at those days, yes, it was the dark days of apartheid, but somehow we got together. Black, white, colored, Indian, you name it. And we were all united with one objective in mind, to remove apartheid from the union buildings and from the country. And today we've lost that spirit of non-racialism. And each time I hear about it, but it's like we become more racialized in a democratic South Africa. Do you think can we ever get back to that sense, that spirit, real spirit, in practice of non-racialism, Cheryl?
Then we have to and we must, because as a people, we need unity again, and we need the confidence of being united. I think that the racial invective we sometimes witness has often been fed into by leaders, really, elected leaders, I may say, who should be ashamed of themselves for doing that. But we as a people know that on the ground, as South Africans, we ourselves are not we ourselves are instinctively people who yearn for being united. So we have to, Dan, I mean, we're not going to be able to break out of many of the negative aspects that besiege our country today if we don't rise united on all fronts, across race, across class, across geographies, and even tribal. You know, I mean, people have sunk as low as being quite tribalistic in the most backward of ways, and we have to rise above that.
Again. Yeah, and leaders have to speak up very strongly against that, whether anywhere where tribalism rears its ugly head, or racism or whatever, we all need to speak up, and we in the media have to play a role in exposing it when it comes up. Now, what about our constitutional democracy? Some people, Cheryl, argue today that corruption, for example, has undermined the delivery of certain basic needs to the people, and lack of proper governance. I mean, local government is in shambles, and is in shambles, and these things can really erode any gain that's been made in the last 30 years of our constitutional democracy. Do you think our constitutional democracy is at risk, and can we reverse that in able to really make sure we achieve the biggest goal of all, that everybody has prosperity?
Yes, indeed, and I think there's two elements to why we find ourselves in this parlous state of affairs. Firstly, I do think that we've allowed the democratic project to be hijacked by corrupt and rent seekers. And those people invoke anything in exactly the same manner that the apartheid regime had, to in fact divide us, because they know that we are united. There's not a chance that we would put up with this nonsense or lack confidence to rise up against them. And I think we must call them out for what it is, because if you think carefully, who are the people who have invoked that racist, tribal, backward invective? It's in fact those people who have been elected. Secondly, Dan, I also think that we as citizens must also say, whatever the reasons are, we seem to have sat back, and we seem to think that the 27th of April in 1994 was freedom, and now we're disappointed and we feel let down. And I think maybe we just need to reflect on that too, and actually understand that it wasn't. We were merely unlocking the door to start to build freedom. And the quality of that freedom has been, and still today is, in our hands, and which is why we think that as the UDF 40th celebration, we really need to reclaim the responsibility to manage the transformation project, because many of these rent seekers and corrupt people have hijacked that. They've done the most appalling things in the name of whether it's of black economic empowerment and so on. So they've hijacked those concepts, and we must reclaim it, because
yeah. No, thank you, Cheryl. I didn't mean to cut you there. Yeah, I mean, there's a very big need today to reignite non-racialism in our country, because really we can only achieve success together, and the future will be guaranteed if we work together. Thank you very much for your time, and good luck on Sunday for the Time to Act exhibition at the Apartheid Museum. You said 11 o'clock on Sunday. It's open to everyone, and we're going to have Thuli Madonsela there and Trevor Manuel as your keynote speakers.
That's correct. Thank you, Dan, and we welcome everyone to come.
Thank you very much. Cheryl Carolus of the UDF, she was in the Secretariat, not as I wrongly said, incorrectly said that she was a General Secretary. That was a slip of the tongue on my part. Ooh, Popo Mulefe will say, what? I was the Secretary General of the UDF.